This is Talking Bullish, the new Bradford Bulls fan podcast. With your hosts, Alan Raisin and Laura Micklefield.
So this week we cover the Doncaster game, go through the Bulls news as usual, and finish off with a game of Bull or No-ble.
Yeah, welcome back for another week. Thanks again to everyone who's given us a listen. I see that as numbers seem to be quite consistent, so it's nice to know that people are hopefully coming back to have a listen to us.
Yes, indeed. And this was another Friday night game, and not to have spoilers, but to sum it up in one or two words, would you say nerve-wracking?
Yeah, a bit nervy. Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably what I'd say. A game of two halves, definitely as well.
So it started off kicking off at 2:15, which confused me a little because I wasn't expecting it to start until 8 o'clock. But didn't miss too much of it. The first 15 minutes, they didn't start that well, did they? A bit scrappy, lots of errors, penalties, pretty frustrating and heavily in Doncaster's favour, right?
Yeah, it's... I was really frustrated watching this match. I'm not one usually to criticise referees. I know everybody usually does, and fans are the worst ones for it. But I usually try and keep quite neutral with stuff, even with some decisions that kind of could go our way. I can kind of understand sometimes where they don't. But it was just like terrible first half. It's probably one of the worst first halves I've seen. It wasn't so much that. It wasn't so much that even that our things are being given to for Doncaster that are being given for us, which was happening. It's like they were laying on so much, could not slow up like ruck speed at all, because like Doncaster were just laying on every tackle, but we just never seemed to get any penalties or six agains very often. But then the other way around, it was happening. They were getting penalties, they were getting six agains. It just seemed very one-sided at the start of the match, definitely. And then just frustrating. It was just frustrating, I think is how I would describe it. But it was pressure gives after you get so many kind of penalties. You get a lot of momentum, you get things going your way. Pressure gave, and it was probably about 17 minutes in, and Doncaster went through, got a try and converted. So we were 6-0 down already at that point.
After that, we seemed to strike back through G, but unfortunately that was given as a knock-on. So, he went down on the ground just like behind the try line and reached over, put it down. But, perfectly good try as far as we could see. Like I was watching the live stream. Didn't get given.
Yeah, again, one of these where I say frustrating, because I feel like momentum changes a lot with matches, and obviously if Doncaster have scored a try and got ahead of things, and then if we'd have managed to get the try and like get straight back into it, it would have changed the nature of the game, but obviously it wasn't given. Again, I've watched it on replay now, perfectly good try, legitimate try. I don't know why knock-on was given. Also, I know in the post-match discussion, No-ble was saying that he'd watched it as well and could not understand why it had not been given. But we haven't got the video referee, so it stands as it was. So obviously it kind of it kept the momentum going with Doncaster, really, because obviously we tried to kick back, didn't, and then they managed to get a penalty after a set restart. So like I was saying early in the match, they seemed to be getting everything. So they got a set restart for holding on. I think it was Hooley in the tackle, but you could see he couldn't get free from the tackle. Then he was trying to get free from the tackle, still couldn't, and then he gave a penalty for it. So as he came away from it, that you can see that it's one of those where you can see like a player when the play up to it and kind of release the ball, so it looks like it's been reefed away. But look, could have my blinkers on with that one, but again, it seemed like a bit of a cheap penalty. But one of those games in this half especially. But so they opted for the 2 at that point, which obviously made it to a 2-score game then. So they went 8-0 up at that point, did Doncaster?
Yeah. And then 35 minutes in, we get a lovely bomb from Keys that Suter chases, jumps for a ball along with the Dons player, but it evades them all and bounces behind.
Yeah, Keys then it dotted down from that. Again, it wasn't given. It was one of those again where they were saying, he said that that Suter took out the Doncaster man. But as you can see from the replay again, and again, No-ble said he watched it, couldn't see anything wrong. They were both going for the ball. Suter was even facing towards Bradford, so you could see his aim was obviously to jump for it and pat it back to a Bradford player, like Ock does kind of pretty much every time if he doesn't catch a ball in corner. So it's the same sort of thing. Went to pat it back, but it didn't even go near them all anyway. So in my eyes, one, I think he was contesting for the ball. Secondly, it didn't even go near them. It bounced behind them, so it didn't affect the play anyway. So for Keys to collect and then dot it down, to me, another legitimate try, but again, chalks off. So yeah, again, it was just like, I just felt very frustrated watching this half of rugby because I feel like we could have been, well, at this point, you could have been 18, well, it'd been 18-8 up, but no, not to be. So obviously, that was very frustrating. But just before half time, thankfully, we finally break through with a beautiful dummy and a slice through from Keys, which was lovely try to watch on the replay. Just, sells the dummy to the defender who goes the other way and just cuts straight through the middle and scores a try, which Hooley converts. So we did manage to get the deficit to 6-8 at half time. But like I say, one of the most frustrating halves of rugby I've seen in a while.
Going back to the try, it was funny watching on the stream because the cameraman nearly couldn't keep up with Keys on that one. So,
Told it to the cameraman as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And then
I would have loved to know the penalty count as well. I mean, I did think about watching the replay and like counting all the penalties, but
Mick on the stream was actually keeping count, and I wish I'd noted it down. But yeah, it was definitely very one-sided coming in at the break.
Look, I'm not saying we were perfect. I don't think we were. By no means did they have the best half anyway, but it's one of those where when it's scrappy, it's stop-start, and the opposition are getting a lot. It's really hard to get into the swing of things. So to be fair, I was quite pleased that we kind of went in 6-8 rather than 8-0 down. Yeah, it was good to just be 2 down at halftime, to be fair.
So coming out of half-time, my stream dropped out, unfortunately, so I didn't see a poor start from the Bulls. What happened there?
Yes, probably a good time for your stream to cut out there, Alan, anyway, so you didn't have to watch it. But no, it was a bit of a sloppy start to the second half. It was just really soft defence, to be fair, and at 50 minutes, it's obvious 10 minutes had gone, but then just as I thought maybe we were going to try getting back into it, no, Doncaster cut through the defence pretty easily, to be fair. They did miss the kick, so it was just 12-6 at that point. But bit disappointing how they started the second half, I think, because like obviously we've been quite used to the matches of coming out all guns blazing in the second half sort of thing. So I thought, here we go, is this one where we do kind of slip up? But luckily, we did seem to get back into it. It was kind of back and forth for a while. Again, it was still quite kind of a slow, scrappy match, but about 64 minutes that we managed to get back in it. It was lovely passes through hands. Blake was tackled round the head as he scored, but managed to score it. But nothing given for the high tackle, by the way. But yeah, we did manage to actually score and convert for that to make it 12-12.
So, the momentum started to swing our way then, and it looked like we'd upped the energy a bit, and we were finishing the game strong. A great play by Keys with his dancing feet, getting a half break, and then finding Fulton in support, who then does a great basketball pass to Ock on the outside to score in the corner.
Yeah, and then brilliant touchline conversion from Hooley as well to make it 16-12. So at this point, we're thinking we've closed the match out, and we're pretty hopeful that we'd won it at that point. But a few nervy moments though when we tried to go for a couple of drop goals and such, and didn't quite go our way. I think a couple of sets we ended it and thought, oh God, why haven't we gone for the drop goal here?
Definitely. That's
but
what
luckily,
was going on the stream as well.
Frustrating again. Yeah, but but luckily, we did like the thing I did like is that we did keep up the kind of defensive effort, because even though we didn't finish with the drop goal and got caught with the ball on the fifth, I think it were like 78 minutes in, like 2 minutes to go or whatever, but Doncaster got it back, and we just like 4 of them in the sackle just forced them back behind the dead ball line to get a drop out. So at that point we knew we'd won the game, thankfully. So yeah, not the kind of performance we'd have wanted really, but I think that first half did really kill us, to be fair.
Yeah, but get the important 2 points and stay up at the top of the table. So, I guess that's what matters in the end.
Yeah, definitely. It's good that we've got the 2 points. That was the big thing out of that one, especially because it seemed a bit touch and go at some points in that match. But yeah, just need to keep trying to get the wins to see what happens towards the end of the season. Yeah, so at this point, we've got a guest on the show this week. It's my nephew, Alfie, and he's come to have a bit of chat with us and see what he thought about the match, and talk through some Bulls news that's coming up and such. So, yeah, welcome to the pod, Alf. What did you think of this week's match?
Hi. Yeah, it was good. A bit nervy at times, and probably not how I thought it would go in the beginning, but it seemed to get better towards the end for us.
Yeah, definitely. We were just saying, like in the match review, like the first half, it just seemed to be nothing going our way, but it did feel like one of those where if you stick with it, you do get the result in the end, and it was one of those, I think that's this week.
Yeah, it's been like that for the last couple of weeks, and I think if we come out in the first half like we normally do in the second, we should be going straight over these teams, but I don't know what's going on in the back room with all that, but I don't know what it is.
I was going to say, do you have any thoughts on why we always start slowly?
Maybe it's because of where we are in the league. We're thinking that we should just breeze over the teams, and then we get to half time and we're either really close or maybe even down by a few points, and that's where they're picking up in the second half and actually like try and do more things, and hopefully it works out. As we know, sometimes it doesn't.
I guess it's good that Brian No-ble seems to know how to adjust it at half time. It took a little while in this game to kick back in, but at least we got that experience to kick in the second half and close these games out.
Yeah, that's true, but never helps when we have Scott Mikulowskis as referee as well.
Yeah, we were just saying it's been a bit it were a bit dicey in that first half, definitely. But it's one of those where I feel like if we were talking about the Bradford side of a few seasons ago, we wouldn't be winning these matches. So there is like definitely a positive to take from it, that like when they are kind of the tough matches that you've got to kind of win through scrappiness and things don't always go as way, we are actually winning the matches, because I think it showed earlier in the season as well with like that battling match that kind of turned just terrible, but we ended up with the win on that one as well. So it's good to know that even when we're in these kind of scrappy battles that seem like could slip away from us, we do manage to get it. And when you look back at the season, the kind of games that we have lost, we've only lost by a couple of points, like in recent times. Like there was obviously Toulouse at the beginning that was quite a heavy loss, but apart from that, we do seem to really try and kind of stick in there. It's just, I do think sometimes against the top teams, like which is shown against York, that if we don't perform in the first half, it's just too big of a bridge to cross when you get to the second half to actually get the win.
Yeah, and it's an improvement, as you say, from last season when I seem to remember us summing up at the end of the season, and there were so many that we'd lost by one score, or to the tight margins. So it's definitely in the right direction this year. Yeah,
I hope that we manage to like finish top. Well, not top, but obviously kind of as high as we can. Obviously, I'd love it if we finish top, but it's not looking overly likely. I mean, I think mathematically it's possible, but yeah, there's 4 matches to go for us now, and the battle for top 2 is definitely still possible. We're 2 points adrift from York, and obviously we're on the same points as Toulouse, but they've got a game in hand. I suppose it depends on how things go with them, because obviously with the fact that they're playing each other, that'll be a chance for us to go up. But to be fair, we've got to think about ourselves, because we've got to win our matches first.
So Kieran Gill was on the commentary for this one, and he chose Eben Sker for man of the match. He had a good one again.
He always seems to have a good game, but I think next season, if we're not in Super League, someone will pick him up. I know Cass was looking around after we beat them in the Challenge Cup, shows how much quality we do have in the team, and to say we have people who are scoring doubles and still not getting man of the match, and it's props getting man of the match is also a big thing compared. It's normally wingers who get man of the match quite a lot, but I think it's good to see a bit of variety throughout the team of who's getting man of the match. I know Ockenberg's had it a few times, and now having a prop, it just shows how different the games are.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you, Alf. And I think it's like matches like that as well, where they are quite tough. It would definitely it were a big forward game as well to try and get like the backs to be able to play off of the strong forward play. So Eben's always just brilliant at that, isn't he? Like he can create like punches through defensive line and just creates off at back of it, quickly play the ball, and things seem to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think that he definitely made it a bit easier controlling the likes of Pauly just because of the brute strength that he has. But I think if we didn't have players stepping up, maybe like Jordan Lilly, I can still remember the tackle he did on one of their big players, and just
that were brilliant.
Yeah, we were brilliant, that one. Just having them big, our little players able to go for the big ones.
Yeah, real tough, I think. And like I say, because I think the other one were done by Holmes, wasn't it? He did a cracking tackle as well on a big guy. Yeah. So yeah, I think they got biggest cheers at night, I think, didn't they?
And then Hitman went to Zach Fulton.
Yeah, well deserved. I mean, I voted for Zach last week, to be honest, rather than this week. But I'm glad he did get recognition for it, because I were only saying on the podcast last week about how much I think he sometimes goes under the radar a bit, because he's just consistently consistent. Is probably the best way to say it. He's always good in defence. He's good in attack, and he's just solid for 80 minutes. Like, you just know you can rely on him. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be between either Zach or Wacker. Wacker, I can still remember his big tackle that he had, where it was penalised, but personally, it was not a bad tackle. He was fully committed, but and then we also had Zach, who I think had a lot of big hits and a lot of good runs, to be fair, but he always goes under the radar, as you said, Laura. And I think he is a really good player. If we are to go to Super League, I'd like to see a try hold on to him.
Yeah, I'd really hope that Fulton's one of players that would come to Super League with us, and I think he'd fit in well as well. He's not old. He's got a lot of his career ahead of him, and I think he'll only get better, to be fair. And like I say, I think we've already got Wacker signed up for next year anyway, because I think he came on a 2-year deal. So likes of him staying would be good as well. So yeah. Let's just see. Depends. I suppose it depends what happens with the decisions of if we are in Super League or not. But I suppose the best way to try and get more points for the performance side of things is to finish as high in the table as we can. But there's still plenty to play for. But I think it will have to we'll have to rely on how other results go as well, to be fair. I mean, I know there was talk, I think Joe Keys did an interview after the match saying that they're kind of glad that they've got this kind of bye week now, because it's a good time to kind of settle down and have a bit of a rest before last few matches before running to playoffs. So I'm hoping to come back firing after this week off.
And then just one other piece of player news, Jayden Ockenbaugh got his 100th point in a Bradford shirt on Friday. Scored 25 tries for the Bulls, 16 this season.
Yeah, it's a good achievement by Ock, definitely. He's going well for us this year. It's definitely one of the, what does he call him? Brian No-ble, the giraffes, who score on the edges. So yeah, it's congratulations to him. Yeah, no other Bulls news this week. I think it's relatively quiet.
So, typically when I'm back around, there's no match for the Bulls, as we've already said. Some other interesting matches. So we've got Barrow versus Widnes, Batley Bulldogs host Oldham, Doncaster play Featherstone, Halifax against Hunslet, and York Knights against London. So which would you pick out of those as the game of the weekend? Oh, and I've missed, Toulouse and Sheffield play on Saturday as well.
York London for me.
Yeah, York London would be a good one. I also think Doncaster Featherstone's quite interesting, because I think they're both hovering near the outskirts of the playoffs as well. So that'll be a good one. But I do think most of them will go as predicted. I think it'll just be I'm not too sure on the Doncaster Featherstone one. I think Featherstone might do it, but if Doncaster have a good solid match like they did against us and they're at home, they've got a good chance of snatching that one.
Hopefully it'll be Doncaster. We need them to win. We don't want Fev getting top 6 again.
Yeah, we've done all right against Fev this season, though, to be fair. So
a great away game, that one.
Yeah, that one a really good performances this season. So let's hope we can keep it up.
Great, and now it's time for another edition of Bull or No-ble, where I get the opportunity to pose 3 statements to Laura and this week Alfie as well, and you get to mull over which you think are truthful as Brian No-ble himself, or and there's one bull lurking in there, one bull statement which is totally false. So here we go. These all come from the RFL website, so they're all fact-checked already. Okay, so I was quite surprised. They have on the RFL website the IMG criteria. And so the categories for the IMG criteria are fandom, performance, finances, community, and social media engagement. That's your first one.
Right.
The second one is that the Millennium Magic event was introduced in 2007, where a round of Super League fixtures were all played on the same weekend. Okay. And then the third statement is that the RFL has 9 people on the board of directors led by Nigel Wood, OBE. What do you think to them?
Well, the second one for me, I wasn't alive, so that'll be Laura. Laura will have to give me a hint about that one.
Is it for Magic Weekend?
Yeah, so the Millennium Magic event was introduced in 2007.
So I'm guessing that's what it used to be called, because I've never known as Millennium. Yeah, I've never heard of that, you see. I know Magic Weekend.
That could be the lie. Could have just changed the name.
Yeah, 2007. I feel
9 board members.
I feel like the IMG is correct.
I feel like it's correct. I feel like
What were the categories again, Alan?
Fandom, performance, finances, community, and social media engagement.
I don't know about community.
I thought there were community.
I thought that was
I didn't know if social media engagement was like encompassed in the fandom stuff. So I don't know if you try to trick us, Alan. But I think that one's maybe No-ble. What do you reckon, Alf?
I think that's No-ble.
Right, okay. So we'll agree on that one. So it's between the other two. So the board of directors for the RFL, because I know that Nigel Wood obviously went back, but I thought he went for, it was like a European thing or something.
No, he is RFL. I think that's No-ble.
Okay, so I'll go with Alfie's on that. So by process of elimination, we're saying that the bull is the Magic Weekend in 2007.
Yeah, the Millennium.
Because we're calling it the Millennial or whatever. What was it called?
The Millennium Magic event.
Which makes me think, was it in the Millennium? So was it 2000?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So are we calling bull on that one, Alf?
Yeah, call bull on that.
Go on then. That's us final answer locked in.
Yeah. I'm afraid you're wrong. So I threw that in because I thought, when I first read it, but it's because it was hosted in Cardiff's Millennium Stadium. But it did start in 2007. There are indeed 9 directors on the RFL board, but the bull statement was the ING criteria, because what do we always talk about? The stadium. It's not social media precedence, it's the stadium.
Yeah. I said about social media, didn't I? I thought that was yeah, of course it was stadium. Yeah.
That's annoying.
That was good, that, Alan. You did well there to trick us, but yeah.
That's the end of another episode of Talking Bullish.
Yeah, thank you for Alfie for joining us this week and getting extra opinions and helping me with bull or No-ble, although at this time 2 brains were not better than 1.
Yeah.
So make sure you tell all your friends about the podcast to help us grow, like and subscribe as appropriate, and get in contact with us on all the social medias.
thank you for all your engagement so far. I noticed that I've got a lot more viewers on TikTok and such. So, thank you for everyone who's listened or got involved. And if anybody wants to, obviously drop us a message, and more than happy to take suggestions and get fan feedback as well. And thanks again for Alfie for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I know I might have got someone else for you for next week or in the next couple of weeks to come on, but we'll keep that quiet for now.
Oh, he's leaving us in suspense. Yeah. Keeping the listeners keen.
And then what do we say on a week where there's no game? Can we do come on you balls or just relax you balls?
Yeah, I suppose it's a relax you balls this week, definitely.
Yeah.
Very good. See
Come
you
back
next week.
firing for week after.
And we'll be back next week as usual. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.